Hello, welcome to Radiant Resilience. I'm Torrey. Today's slow flow yoga practice is going to include a self massage to release the connective tissue or the fascia of the diaphragm that connects to your rib cage, which will help us breathe a little deeper and a little easier. Sometimes it also helps the low back. If you're feeling any sort of tension or pulling in the low back, often this release can ease that up as well. We will also be doing a lot of easy, flowy, somatic types of movements. And these movements are designed specifically to release old holding or tension patterns that we have in our torso, specifically around the low back area. So the idea is after this class, if you are having any tightness or anything going on there, maybe it will feel a little bit better. As far as props go, you will need a strap or a belt or a scarf for something that we're going to do at the very end. You could do it without as well. And then kind of in the middle of class, we'll be doing something where if you have 2 blocks or even 1 block, that might be helpful. If you don't have either of those things, you could have a chair or a stool close by. And if you don't have any of that, you can do it without. You just might need to shift up a little bit so that it's a little not quite as intense. And getting into that before we start, just remind yourself that you are in charge. You know how your body feels today and what's going on with it better than anybody else. So give yourself permission to skip or modify anything that you know isn't going to work for you. Keep yourself safe. All right, so we are going to get started. Go ahead and come down into constructive rest pose. Feet are flat on the floor with your knees bent, and your arms are comfortably away from your sides with your palms facing up. And right now, we're just going to start with 2 sighs. Inhale through your nose, sigh the breath out through the mouth, and relax your low back and your belly as best as you can. So you're not pressing it down, you're just relaxing there. And then do the same thing with the shoulders. Just let them melt down towards the floor. And then you might be able to lengthen out the back of your neck some. Now, tune in to just what feels like the natural flow of your breath, noticing the rate and the rhythm of your breath and how much the body feels like it's able to expand when you breathe in. And then as you're doing this, just gradually make that expansion or your inhales a little bit bigger, focusing on expanding in every direction at the same time, front, back, sides, up and down. And you're going as big as you can breathe without moving into a place that feels like it's strain. All right, so we're going to come back to this in a moment after we do that little diaphragmatic self-massage. So I want you to be able to compare now to after the massage. So just making note of anything you're feeling here. And maybe notice if your low back is talking to you at all today, and we'll see if that might have eased up as well. Okay, take another big sigh. All right, so now hopefully your fingernails aren't long because that can make it a little challenging, but you're going to take your fingers and actually hook under, so you're going to push in, hooking underneath your ribs and up. So it's almost like you're trying to hook around the back side of the ribs. And as you're doing this, you'll start in the center and you'll just get your fingers hooked around there and just move your hands around a little bit. So it's not a big motion, you're just kind of wiggling your hands side to side a little bit. And you'll start center and gradually work out to the sides. And you might notice as you're doing this, there's certain spots that might feel a little bit tender. I have on my right side feels a little more tender than my left. It's just nothing to worry about. It's just make a mental note of it. Also, inside of the body, our organs are not exactly symmetrical in there, so that might be part of it as well. Um, yeah. One thing that can happen is your stomach can kind of press up into the diaphragm. So, and that can cause some heartburn type of stuff. Okay, now you're going to go out a little further. Now, once you get all the way out to the sides, we're going to switch to just one side with both hands. So I went all the way to the side to where I start to feel kind of a stopping point. There's actually a muscle there that I've hit. So I'm going to work that outside part, right, hooked in and back behind the ribs. Oh. And then work all the way back into the middle. And then we'll do the other side. Start way out to the side, underneath that bottom side rib, the lowest rib you can get to, and work your way into center. Oh. And when you get right into the center, so once you've come back to the middle, just right in between that little triangle of your ribs below your breastbone, there's a little place that we're just going to have you pump in and up. So you're going to push in and up, not too aggressively. Sometimes that feels a little uncomfortable. And this is just helping the lymphatics from the lower part of the body. It all comes into this one cistern right here. And we're just helping that main spot where all the lower part of the lymphatic system drains into to help it open up and flush up towards the heart, the main place where the lymphatics go. Okay. All right. And then from there, let your arms come back down by your sides. Take another big sigh. And then tune back into your breath, expanding in every direction. And notice how the flow of your breath feels. Notice if you might feel like you get a little more expansion when that connective tissue is kind of tight. Not only does it limit how much the diaphragm moves when you breathe, but it also limits how much the low ribs can kind of fan out to the sides on your inhale. So just notice if you feel like you're able to get to breathe a little deeper. And if you did have any aching or discomfort in your back, notice if that has changed also. All right, and then take another sigh. Okay, now we're going to move into a somatic twist. I'm going to sit up for a moment just so you can see what my arms are doing, but you're going to stay on the ground. So you're going to have your arms out to the sides, and one arm is going to roll in, one shoulder rolls in as the other shoulder rolls out. So that, and then you'll be alternating back and forth like this, but you're going to be lying on your back. Now notice as my head is turning towards the shoulder that's rolling out and the palm moving up. So that's how we're going to start with our head movement. So arms are out by your sides, and you're going to roll the right shoulder open as you roll the left shoulder down and forward. And your head is going to turn toward the palm that's rolling up. So with somatics, you're not pushing into a range of motion where there's any discomfort. You're keeping the range of motion really, really soft and comfortable. Okay, so now that you have this motion, you're going to start in with the legs. So the legs are going to go the opposite direction your head is turning. And you're not going to force into that range of motion either. You're just going to keep it really comfortable and easy. And now we're going to slow it down even more. So inhale as you move center, and then exhale, go into that twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, go the other direction. Take it really slow with your breath. And then come back to the center and sigh. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing, except for this time, your head is going to turn to look towards the palm that's rolling inward and the shoulder that's rolling inward. Okay? And so you're going to rock your head. So now the head is kind of going opposite what it was doing before. And once you've got that going, then you're going to start to drop the legs opposite direction as where the head is turning. Slow it way down. Exhale as you twist. Inhale as you move out. And twist. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now, if you're one of those people that likes to push yourself, this might be challenging to keep this feeling really easy. Okay, and then come back to center, slide the arms to where it feels comfortable for you, and take a big sigh. Checking in with your back again, see if anything's shifted, deep breath in. Exhale, knees to your chest, and we're just going to push knees away. Exhale, pull them in. Push them out, pull them in. So you're just going to do this a few times, and this really is to start to get the hips to warm up, as well as some very gentle movement in the low back. So as you're doing this, the hips kind of rock forward and back, which causes almost like a mini cat-cow in your low back. Now you're going to do the same action, but one leg goes one way as the other goes the other opposite direction. So push one as you pull the other and switch. As you're doing this, gradually go wide with the knees. And when you get into that widest knee position, now you'll notice that the hips are kind of tilting side to side, which causes a very gentle lateral bend in your low back. So really easing into the hips and the low back, and then gradually come back center. And then once you bring the knees in towards your chest, either rock side to side or make circles, knees going in the same direction. Some of you might find to have your ankles crossed feels more comfortable, so you can play with that and see. If you're circling, go the other direction. And then bring the knees back into your chest. Open knees apart, circle them around, bring them back together. So now we're going into that full range of motion in your hip joints. Hands are guiding, and of course you're not going into pain, and then go the other direction. As the knees go wide, hold them there. So you're kind of holding them and pulling them towards your shoulders in this wide position. You can stay right here with the knees really bent, or you can unbend the knees a little bit so that you can stack your feet and hold anywhere from your foot to your knee. Lengthen your tailbone out on the floor, and you might rock here. And then come center for a sigh. Releasing knees into the chest again, hands to the backs of your thighs, flex your feet, breathe in, exhale, straighten the legs up towards the ceiling, inhale, bend. So we're just going to pump the legs, getting the legs a little warmer, as well as stretching out the backs of the legs, particularly your hamstrings. And then go back out to a lengthened position. Reach the arms up, point and flex your feet, move your wrists, palms up and palms down. Fingers and toes are going to spread out. Oh, and I forgot to mention, we're also going to be working into hamstrings, glutes, hips, and IT band a little bit. So, all right, and then rotate the ankles and the wrists, and rotate the other direction. Flex your feet, spread your toes out, give your hands a shake, and then bring the knees back into your chest. Feet come to the floor, arms down by your sides, flip your palms to face up, press your shoulders down. We're going to work up into a bridge in 4 breaths. So if you come to your edge before that 4th breath, you're just not going to go any further. Exhale. On your inhale, tilt the tailbone up and peel just the hips up off the floor. Breathe in, and then on your exhale, come up a little higher. So now your waist pulls up or rolls up. And then on the next exhale, the low ribs come up. And then finally, you can lift the rest of the rib cage up, coming up onto the shoulders. From there, you might walk your shoulder blades in towards each other. Press the backs of the arms down, but bend your elbows so the forearms point up. And then lengthen out your tailbone and scoop the navel in. Now, if you feel any pinching or compression in the low back, lower the hips down a little bit as you lengthen your tailbone more. You could also walk your feet forward a little bit to give you a little more space for that length. And walking the feet forward some is also helpful if you feel any discomfort in the knees. All right, one more breath here. And then lengthen the arms back out, deep breath in, exhale, shoulder blades come down. On the next exhale, the rib cage rolls down. And another one, the waist comes down. And then last, the hips release. Take a great big sigh right there. And then place your right ankle to your left thigh. You're going to flex the foot and keep the ankle on your thigh as you move the knee across towards your left shoulder, and then open it and press it open with your hands up by your hip crease. So we're going to move through that a few times. Pushing and pulling with the hands, working the knee across, and then pressing the thigh open. The ankle stays on the thigh. Okay, the next time you're opening the knee up, you're going to stay with that press right up by your hip crease. We're opening in through the front of the hip into the hip flexor area. And now you're going to let that press go, coming into figure 4 pose. So your figure 4, you could have your foot on the floor, your left foot on the floor. You could have your left foot resting on a block, or bring your left knee in towards your chest with your hands or a strap around the back of the left thigh. From there, rock side to side, so you can do that whether you lifted the foot or not. And then move the legs in towards the left until you find the best place for you. Breathe right there. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Left ankle to the right thigh, flex the foot, and then you're going to press the leg open and then cross the knee towards your right shoulder. And you'll just go back and forth with this a few times. As you press your leg open this next time, pause right there, really press open up by your hip crease. And then release that bottom foot on the floor or block, or bring your right knee up, hands around the thigh or strap, and then go side to side. So if you do have a particular part of your body that might be having some pain or discomfort, one of the things to do is not just look in that spot, okay, and then go a little bit to the right and breathe. Not just look in the spot that might have discomfort, but look above and below for what's going on. Because oftentimes there's some tightness or some strain happening either above or below, or maybe some misalignment that can be affecting and you're just feeling it in one particular spot. So always look above or below. Okay, and then let's release the right foot down, bring your left knee into your chest, and then you might lengthen out your right leg. So I always say if you do have any discomfort in your low back when we stretch and warm up and release the hips and the glutes, oftentimes your low back feels a lot better. All right, left foot comes down, right knee into your chest, and then you might lengthen out the left leg. And then both legs go long, arms reach up over your head. Inhale for a big full body stretch. And then exhale, relax into the floor. Good. Walk the feet back to the floor, breathing in. Exhale, knees to your chest, rock side to side again. And then from here, we're going to roll all the way over onto our side. So as you come onto your side, let your bottom arm support your head. Bottom knee is bent. And then the top arm and leg are lengthened out in opposite directions. So this is another one where you could be pretty aggressive with it, but that's not what we're doing. We're keeping it soft. So as you stretch the arm and leg in the opposite direction, you're just going to notice when you start to feel a stretch. And then as you exhale, bring the elbow and the knee towards each other. Inhale, stretch back out. Now, if you want to make this just a little bit more, as you exhale and pull the knee and elbow in, you could lift into a little side bend with your upper body. But you don't have to if that doesn't feel good. So we're just going to flow with this. So it's another one where you're not going all out. You're keeping it a little bit soft. And I'll just take a few more here. All right, last time, reach out and in. Good. And then from there, stack your legs so both knees are bent. Top arm is up by the side of your head again, and then you're going to lengthen out your top leg. So the thighs are still stacked and that leg is just lengthened out. All right, now we're going to go really loose. Deep breath in, and as you exhale, you're just going to let your top shoulder kind of roll forward, and then inhale back to where you started, and then exhale, let it roll back. Inhale back to the middle. So that's the movement. We're going to go through it a few more times. Exhale forward and up, and you're just kind of letting your body weight take you into how far you go without forcing it. And we'll do one more time, forward and back. And then come back, slide your top hand to the floor in front of you, bring your top knee in, or bend your top knee, and then take a sigh. From there, bring your top knee into your chest, slide your hand down the shin to the foot, and bring the leg back. Tailbone is long, navel is pulling in and up. So you can feel this anywhere along the front of your thigh or hip except for the knee. You don't want to feel it in the knee, so if you are, adjust the position so that you take it out of your knee. All right, let's do a few more breaths here. And then bring the knee into your chest, roll onto your back, do a little rock side to side, and then we're going to go to the other side. So you can just roll to the other side, or you can flip around, do whatever feels right for you. So as we get set up, bottom arm is supporting your head, bottom knee is bent, top arm and leg are stretched out in opposite directions. Inhale, do a little stretch, reach, and then exhale, elbow and knee towards each other. You can keep the head down, or you can curl it up. But you're going to keep this flowy and soft with the breath, reaching out and pulling in. So if you were going to be really going all out with this, this would be a kind of a side core work, which it is to a certain extent, but that's not really the focus for this one. We want to keep it a little bit softer. And we're going to do one more. And then stack the legs, reach the top arm up towards the ceiling. Oops. And take a big sigh. Now, lengthen your top leg with the thighs still stacked, and we're going to do that rolling of the shoulder forward and back. Breathe in. Exhale, let the shoulder just kind of fall forward. Inhale back. And then exhale, roll the shoulder back. Inhale back to your starting point. Exhale forward. Inhale back to the middle. And then exhale, roll the shoulder back. We'll do one more in each direction. Exhale it forward and up and back and up. Good. Slide your hand down. Bend your knee. Take a sigh. And then bring your top knee to the chest. Slide the hand down the shin to the foot. Bring the leg back. Tailbone is long. Navel scoops in and up. Take it out of your knee if you're feeling it in the knee. And then bring the top knee into your chest for a hug. Roll onto your back once more. Do a few little side-to-side rocks. And then rolling all the way to one side, bring yourself up into a seated position. Once seated, roll shoulders up, back, and around. So check in that you're able to sit up really straight. If you feel like you're kind of rounded forward because things are a little tight, elevate your hips with a folded up towel or blanket or even a cushion of some sort. And then roll the shoulders separately like you're doing a shoulder backstroke, moving the rib cage, getting the rib cage moving, which helps loosen up your upper back if you have some tightness going on there. And then on your next inhale, shrug. And exhale, push the palms down. Chin comes down to your chest. Take a sigh here. Slide the chin over to your collarbone. Go through the middle to the other one. And then back into the center. Roll your head ear to your shoulder, forward and to your other shoulder. Keep going with this. And as your head goes over to the right this next time, stop there, move into some little head nods. Softening your jaw by bringing some space between your upper and lower teeth. Pause, take a sigh. And then bring your head forward and over to the other side. And when you get there, little head nods. And pause, take a sigh. And then bring your head forward, chin to the chest, breathe in. Exhale, head comes upright. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bring your right hand down to the floor as you reach to the side. Now, we're going to take the left arm and reach it in the same direction your right knee is pointing. So you can be really in close to your knee, or you can reach further out. It depends on how your body's feeling. And then we're going to flow with it back into that side bend. And then reach out and up and reach out. So it's almost making that motion that we just did on our sides with our shoulders almost a little bigger. And what we're doing is bringing it more into the torso and the waist, okay? And then as you come up this next time, stop right there. Bring your hand, top hand down to the thigh, right up by your hip crease, and push down just a little bit towards the floor. And then come up, inhale, arms sweep up, exhale, other side. Hold right here for a breath. And then bring the hand same angle as your right knee or your left knee. And you can be in close or you can reach out. And then we're going to flow up and reach. Inhale, exhale. 2 more, up and over and up and over. Good. And then as you come back up for a breath, bring your right hand to your right thigh, right by your hip crease. Press it down towards the floor. And come back up. Hands to your knees. We're going to come into a cat-cow here. Inhale, chest forward. Exhale, round back. And 2 more, forward. Back. Last time, forward. And back, good. And then come back into a neutral spine. We're just going to do a little foot release. Nothing too crazy, but we're just going to come to the base of your big toe and pinky toe. So right at the ball of the foot, and you're just going to push and pull. So one pushes forward, the other pushes back, and you're just going to go back and forth with that. Just loosening up the foot a little bit. Good. And then you're going to go to your same thing with your big toe and your second toe. You'll gently pull them apart, push one forward and the other back, and just go back and forth. So again, not super aggressive, but just more of a wiggle stretch type of thing. And then go to the second and third toe, and then third and fourth, and then fourth and fifth. Okay, and then lengthen your legs out and just kind of move your feet around. Notice that foot compared to the other one, and then we're going to do the other side. So start out base of the big toe and pinky toe, right at the ball of the foot, and just kind of move them forward and back in opposite directions. So we're loosening up the area, the muscles and the tendons and stuff in the part of the foot that leads into the toes. Okay, now big toe, second toe, pull them apart and move one forward, the other back. Second and third, third and fourth, and fourth and fifth. Good. And then lengthen the legs out, give them a little movement. And then we're going to come into our table position. If you need to pad your knees, now's the time to get that set up. If you are using blocks I mentioned for our hamstring stretch, you're going to want them on each side of your mat, kind of towards the front so that you're able to grab them if and when you decide to use them. Stretch your right leg out behind you, tuck your toes under on the floor, push back through your heel, and then inhale the heel forward, exhale it back. Forward, back, one more time, forward, ooh, and back. I just got a pop. And then we're going to lift the leg up. Now you can just do the leg, or you can also reach the left arm forward. Breathe in, exhale, knee to the forehead, maybe pull the elbow in. Inhale, stretch out. Exhale, pull in, and stretch out. 2 more, in, out, and in, and out. Pause right here for a breath. Bring your hand down, bring the knee in towards your forehead one more time, and then set the top of the foot on the floor. So you're kind of pushing down into the floor with your foot to stretch your shin and the top of your foot. Maybe move your heel side to side here. And then stretch the leg back out behind you. Lift the leg up. Breathe in, exhale, bend your elbows, squeeze them in towards your rib cage. Inhale, press up. So you're only bending your elbows as much as you can and still point the elbows straight back. Okay, let's take one more of those. And then sweep the leg out to the right Outside edge of the foot pushes down, arch lifts, sits bones are back, and you're gently dropping the right hip towards the floor. You can stay right here and breathe, or you can rock your hips back and come forward. Back, forward, and again, back and forward. Good. Come back to both hands and knees. And we'll come into puppy pose. Walk your hands forward, hips are up, heart melts. As the arms reach forward, lift outside edges of the shoulder blades to the sky and maybe come onto the fingertips so that your palms are off the floor. And breathe. Okay, coming back up to table. Left leg stretches out, toes under, push back through your heel. And then inhale, heel forward. Exhale, push it back. Inhale, forward, back, and forward, and back. Pause right there. And then we're going to lift the leg up, maybe reach right arm forward. Breathe in. Exhale, knee to the forehead. If you're using the arm, elbow comes in too. Inhale, stretch out. 3 more. In, out. Last time. Pause right here. Bring the hand down, knee to the forehead one more time. Top of the foot sets down on the floor and kind of pushes down. And then move your heel side to side. Stretch the leg out, toes under, push back through your heel as a counter stretch. Bring the leg up. Breathe in, exhale, bend the elbows. Inhale, straighten. And bend, straighten. 3 more. Last one. As you straighten, swing the leg to the left. Outside edge of the foot pushes down, arch lifts. Gently dropping the left hip towards the floor, staying here for breath, or rock back and forward. Back, forward. One more time. Back and forward. Back to both hands and knees. Back into a puppy pose, or you might come up to a down dog. If you come into a down dog, pedal the feet a little bit before dropping your heels towards the floor, pressing all the surface of your hand down so you're not just pressing in at the wrist. Shoulder blades dropping down, take a sigh. And then work yourself into a child's pose. Arms down by your sides, palms facing up, shoulders dropping. Rock side to side if that feels good. And then back to center, take a sigh. All right, arms stretch forward, come back up to table. Now here's where you can use your blocks if you want. You can also be on your hands, or you can have a stool or something, a kind of a low stool or a chair seat facing you. But we're going to walk the hands or the blocks to the left, bring your right foot forward. So as you're coming up, then we're going to come all the way up. So as you're coming up, you're going to walk your foot forward just a little bit. So it's not quite underneath the knee. Actually, let's keep the foot directly under the knee for now. We're going to be working on the hip flexors of your the front of your left hip, okay? So it's not a lot of movement, but you're going to scoop the navel in and up, tailbone lengthens out, and then engage your left glutes. So if your brain doesn't want to connect to the glutes, give them a little poke to help the brain find them. So you want to engage the glutes, and then your front foot is going to push down and pull back. So that's a lot to do before we've even started to move. And our movement is really subtle. So you're going to maintain all of that, and then we're just going to come forward and back. Now this, with the knee coming forward towards the toes, it's also working on our ankle mobility here. So if that starts to feel strained, I know this side, this ankle doesn't have as much mobility because I have old injuries in it. So if it starts to feel strange, you can always bring that foot forward a little bit so that it doesn't feel like it's straining your ankle. But I'm going to keep working on that because that's something I need to work on. Okay, now come straight up. Now your back shin is just going to shift a little bit. So you're just going to, so if that's my left shin, I'm going to shift it a little to the right. So that's causing my left thigh to rotate out very slightly. It's not a big shift. You don't want to feel like you're torquing or twisting in your hips. Just a little shift, an inch or two. And then same setup, tailbone long, navel in and up. Engage the left glutes, push the front foot down, pull it back, and then we're going to come forward and back, forward. So if you have all of that engaged, you really don't go very far. You don't go very deep, but it's deep work, okay? So we're kind of working, as we're working the hip flexors, we're focusing right now more on the psoas, and then we're going to come up and then move your shin back to neutral, that back shin to neutral, and then you're going to move it out an inch or two. So in my case, it would be out to the left, okay? Scoop navel in and up, tailbone long, engage the left glutes, front foot's pushing down and pulling back, and then we're going to go forward and back. So now this position is getting more into the tensor fasciae lata muscle, which is the muscle that feeds into the IT band, as well as the glutes. The glutes feed into it too. Okay, and come back up. Now, bring the back shin to neutral again. Walk your front foot forward a little bit. So now we're going to scoop in, lengthen out, right or left glutes work, and now we're going to come forward just a little deeper. Right arm stretches up, or sorry, left arm stretches up, right arm stretches up. I'm mirroring you. Take a couple of deep breaths in. Good. And now we're going to bring the hands down to the blocks or the floor or a chair or stool and lengthen your front leg out. Work your hips back. Toes are up. Spine is long. That's why the height gives you a little extra help, because if your hamstrings are tight and you're like this, that's not where I want you to be. I want you to have a long spine. And then turn your toes side to side. So we're working through all of our hamstrings. Toes straight up for a breath. Good. Now we're going to work into that IT band area a little bit. Turn the toes out to the side, and then you're going to walk your hands to the right as well. And as you do that, you're working your right hip back and lengthening out through your spine. And that one's intense. I need this height because if any lower, it's going to feel like it's too much for me, I think. Okay, and then we're going to come back and back to both hands and knees. Let's come into a child's pose. And just kind of noticing what you're noticing after that sequence. Okay, we're going to come back up and do the other side. So walk your left foot forward. I'm going to just move these out so you can see me better, but I'm in that 90-90. Now you can always bring your front foot forward a little bit if that feels better on your ankle, okay? But I'm going to stay 90 degrees, hip over the back knee. Okay, back shin is neutral, tailbone long, scoop in the navel, and now we're working at engaging the right glute. So maybe even give them a little poke, and then push your front foot down, pull it back. Breathe in, exhale. Come forward, inhale back, and forward, and back. So this is the side I injured my ankle. It's also the side that my glute does not like to fire, or it fires, but it takes so much more concentration. And I notice my toes are curling. They're kind of recruiting, trying to help my glutes. So I'm trying to relax my toes. Okay, and then come back up. Now we're going to turn the back shin in a little bit, so that causes the rotation, external rotation. So if this is your right leg, the foot's going to the left a little. All right, tailbone long, navel in and up, right glute working, and then come forward. Front foot's pushing down and pulling back. Forward, forward. Good. Last one. Shin goes back to neutral and then a little out to the left or to the right. Tailbone long, scoop in the navel, right glute works. Front foot pushes down, pulls back, and then come forward and back. Forward and back. And the sensation is completely different on this side than it was on the first side. So you might notice something like that as well. In spite of everything, we don't always have our body in complete symmetry. Okay. And then come back. Bring your back shin back to neutral. Walk your front foot forward a little bit. Reestablish. Tailbone long, navel in and up. Right glute works. And now we're going to come forward a little deeper. Reach the right arm up. Left arm comes up. Shoulders drop down. Take a nice deep breath here. And then bring your hands down to your blocks. Push the hips back. Walk your blocks back. Lengthen your front leg. Really long spine. Toes go side to side. Ooh. And then toes straight up. Take a breath in and out. Okay, now we're going to work into that IT band. So you're going to turn the toes out. So you're on the outer edge of that foot. Walk your hands in the same direction the toes are pointing. Spine is long. Work that hip back. All right, and then go ahead and come back. Now we're just going to switch. So you're going to walk your hands in the other direction. And then we're going to work our way up into a wide forward bend. Toes are forward. Breathe in, exhale, fold down. Good. And then slide your hands over to your right leg or your foot. You're going to keep your right leg straight. So the one you're holding on to stays straight as you bend the other knee. And come up. We'll go to the other side. Hold on to the left foot or leg. Keep that side straight. Bend the right knee. So you're only bending the leg that you're not holding. And then come back to center. Bring yourself halfway up. Little bend in your knees. Arches stay lifted. Hands to your thigh bones right up at the very top of your thigh. Push your thighs back. Lengthen out through the crown of your head. So we're bringing a little decompression into your spine. And then hinge your way up. From there, turn your right toes out. Bend your right knee. Coming into your warrior two. Knee is stacked over ankle, pointing down the midline of your foot. And then you're going to try to stack your shoulders right over your hips. On this side in particular, I notice I tend to lean towards my bent leg a little. So I'm working at bringing that stacking motion. Arms come out. Breathe in and out. All right, side ankle pose. Inhale again. Exhale, elbow or hand to the thigh. So you can be up here, you can be here. You could also be down on the floor or a block. Other arm comes up next to the side of your head. Roll the shoulder back. Breathe right here. And then we're going to come back up, warrior two. Inhale. As you exhale, reverse your warrior, right hand down or left hand down, right arm up. And then come back. Straighten the right leg. Push the ball of your right foot down into the floor. Bring your right hand down just to the inside of your thigh. Other arm's going to pull straight up. Inhale. As you exhale, tilt the hips and slide the hand down the leg. Inhale, come up. Now, if having your arms straight feels like it's too much, you can do hands on hips instead. Okay, the next time we tilt, we're going to pause there, 2 breaths. Okay, now bend the knee. Keep that bottom arm reaching down in front of the thigh. Press the thigh back with your arm. And come up. Straighten the leg. Turn toes forward. If you are using a block, you can switch it to the other side. And then turn left toes out. Oh. Bend the left knee. Make sure the knee is lined up. And the reason I harp on that so much is if your knee is pointing in towards your big toe, which is the tendency that I see most of the time, then you're starting to cause uneven movement in your knee, which can cause wear and tear on one side and can kind of compress and grind one side and overstretch the other side. So you always want the knee pointing down, center line of the foot. Bring arms out, deep breath in and out. And then side angle pose, hand or elbow to the thigh, or your bottom hand can be down on the floor or a block. Top arm alongside your ear. Take a nice deep breath in and release it out. Come back up, warrior 2. And then reverse your warrior. And back. Straighten the leg. Ball of the foot pushes down. Hand comes to the inside of the thigh. Other arm stretches up. Inhale. As you exhale, slide down. Inhale, come up. So remember, you can have hands on hips, down and up and down and up. The next time you lower down, we're going to pause there. Breathe. Now bend the knee. Bottom arm stays reaching down in front of the thigh. Push the thigh back. And come back up. Straighten the leg. Turn the toes forward. Heel toe your feet in just a little bit closer together. Reach your arms up, and we're just going to rock on the heels so you can let your toes kind of come out to where they want to be. And then we're going to reach to the side. Now as we sweep to the other side, you're going to lead with your rib cage. Lead with the rib cage. And lead with the rib cage. So think of your body almost as if it were, I don't know, seagrass on the bottom of the sea, kind of rippling or swaying back and forth. Okay, last one. And come up. Roll the shoulders. Heel toe your feet in. Find your mountain pose. Take a sigh. And then inhale up to your toes. Exhale, come down. Inhale up. And lower. Third one, hold it. Hands to the heart. Release the heels, sigh. And then bring the arms down. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, come back down. Let's do that halfway up again. You can slide your hands up your shins if you need to. Exhale, fold. Fingers reach back. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands come to the heart. And we'll do that again. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, lower. Fingers go back. Inhale all the way up. As we lower down, bring your hands to your heart. Lower down to your chair pose. Thighs are parallel. Knees are still drawing a line down the center of your feet. So you don't want your knees winging out or falling in. They're lined up with your ankles. Scoop in your navel, tailbone long. Open the collarbones. And then shift your weight to one foot, lift the other heel, and we're going to lower and lift. Lower, lift, lower, lift, and again, lower, lift. Good. back to both heels or back to both feet, and then lift the other heel. Same thing, lower, lift, lower, lift. One more, lower, lift, back to both heels, both feet. Take a breath in. And then very slowly, strongly push your heels into the floor as you come all the way up. Take a sigh. Good. Now we're going to turn to face the front of the mat again. Walk your feet out a little bit wider than your shoulders. Toes are angled out. And then we're either going to bring hands to your thighs and you're going to push back like you're going to sit in a chair with a wider foot position. And then we're going to work at bending and straightening here. Or you can have your hands on a block. And you're trying to keep your heels on the floor. Or you can have your hands on the floor. We'll just do a few more of these. So it's almost like a squat flow. Okay, and then come forward, hands and knees. We're going to come into our plank, so you can be on elbows or knees. You could be on toes, hands or elbows or knees and toes. If you're on your toes, you can alternate dipping the knees. If you're on your knees, you can alternate lifting the knees. I'll just do a few more. And then back to the middle for a breath. And then puppy pose or down dog. Take a sigh. And then bend the knees, child's pose. And sigh again. And then roll your way up. We're going to flip around. Now here's where you might want to use your strap or a belt if you have it handy. So go ahead and bring that close by. Roll yourself down, knees into your chest. Rock side to side. And then left foot comes down to the floor. Strap or belt around your right foot, or your hands are just going to support your leg. Lengthen out the other leg if that's okay with your back. And you're going to push out through your left heel if you lengthen the leg out. So you want to keep that leg really active. All right. So we're going to exhale and come into our hamstrings. Inhale, move away. So just do that a few times, kind of moving in and out of that stretch. And then find where it's just the beginning of a stretch. So if you go really far after a couple of breaths, if you're still feeling like it's really tight, it's probably because you've activated, there's a mechanism where it will start to contract as protection. So you've probably activated that mechanism. So if that's the case, and I usually do that, I'm a little ambitious. I think, oh, I can go this far. And then it's like tightening. So if you go back off of it a little bit so that you're really able to breathe into it and soften, you'll get more sooner than if you force it. Okay, now we're going to open the leg out. So strap in the right hand, left arm out to a T, look to your left as you open the leg to the right. And then bring the leg back up. Now you're going to move even further out of your hamstrings. Strap in your left hand. Flex your foot. Keep the foot flexed as you push the outer edge of your foot into your strap. If you're not using a strap, towards the ceiling. Right hand, thumb is going to hook and hold the right hip down as you shift the leg to the left. And there's the IT band again. And then bring it up and just kind of move the leg side to side. If you don't have a strap, you're just going to toss your leg side to side with your hands. All right, and then as you release, give that knee a hug, and we'll do the other side. So we're going to go to the left foot, lengthen it up. You can keep the right leg bent or lengthen it out. If you do lengthen it, foot is flexed and active. Breathe in, exhale, come into your hamstrings, inhale, move away, and keep going. All right, so now we're going to find our holding place. So remember, try not, so here's my edge. I'm going to back way out of it so that I'm feeling a stretch, but a stretch to where I can breathe deeply and start to soften. I'm even going even a little further out, soften through the back of the leg. Right arm out to a T, left hand, strap in the left hand, open the leg out to the left, look over your right shoulder. And then come back up. Now you're going to switch your strap into your right hand, move the leg even further away from your face. So you're moving out of the hamstrings more. Flex the foot, outside edge of the foot pushes into your strap or towards the ceiling if you don't have a strap. And your left thumb is holding the left hip down as you move the leg to the right. And breathe. And you might even turn your head to the left. And then bring the leg up, move it side to side. All right, and then release your strap, set it to the side, bring your knee into your chest for a hug. And then both knees to the chest, move a little bit side to side here. And then place the feet on the floor and do a few little windshield wiper twists. And then from there, we're going to set up for our final relaxation or Shavasana. So if there happens to be another stretch that you want to do first, go ahead and move into that first. And then bring yourself into what feels like the most comfortable position. So you can be lying flat, legs long, or you can be in constructive rest pose with your knees bent. You might even prefer to be on your side or sitting up. So you decide what feels best. And then when you get there and you're settled, give yourself a sigh or two to really settle in. Not only is this your time to rest, restore, and ground yourself, it gives time for your system to integrate the benefits of your yoga practice. Every inhale you take draws in new life force, energy, and prana. And every exhale lets go of any tension, fear, worry, stress. Breathe in ease and comfort and vitality. Breathe out, letting anything else that's not serving you melt into the floor, into the earth to be reabsorbed. Breathe into your belly. Let it go. Breathe in belly, low ribs. Let it go. Breathe in belly, ribs, upper chest, and let it go. And then start to move your body again. When you're ready, come onto your side and take another sigh. And then bring yourself up into a seated position. And bringing the arms down by your sides. Inhale, sweep arms all the way up. Exhale, hands together at your heart. Gently press your thumbs into your breastbone. Fan the fingers out, a gesture of shining out your divine light. That light, that spark that makes you, you who is special and brightens the world. One more sigh right here. And then bow your head and thank yourself for your practice today. And I thank you as well. I thank you for allowing me to spend some time with you, and I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.